Ever boot up your Switch for just a quick session and suddenly the sun's rising like it's judging you? Yeah, welcome to the club. Today, we're counting down 30 Nintendo Switch games that quietly steal hours of your life. Cozy, chaotic, and dangerously addictive. Consider yourself officially warned. You know that dangerous point where a game feels just rewarding enough that you keep saying one more round? That's Balatro's entire personality. It takes the familiar comfort of poker and twists it into this wild deck-building carnival where every Joker card can turn your strategy into something brilliant or deeply cursed. Runs move quickly, which tricks your brain into thinking you're being efficient, but suddenly, you're knee-deep in multipliers and calculating combos like you're trying to solve card-based quantum physics. When a ridiculous chain reaction triggers and your score explodes across the screen, it hits you with that perfect I am unstoppable energy. Balatro's simplicity is the trap, the creativity is the hook, and the synergies are the reason you'll accidentally stay up way past your bedtime. It's smart, chaotic, and dangerously replayable. Some games challenge your reflexes. Celeste challenges your determination and somehow makes that feel cozy. It starts gently, clean jumps, tight controls, a mountain to climb. But the more you play, the more the platforming starts to flow like a rhythm game, turning difficult rooms into these beautiful little dance routines. The best part is how encouraging the game feels even when it's tough. Every screen whispers, "You've got this." And when you finally nail a precise sequence, the satisfaction hits like a warm hug wrapped in chiptune music. And listen, if you decide to go after strawberries or attempt the nightmare level B-sides, prepare for a full thumb workout. Celeste has this rare ability to consume hours without feeling punishing. It's emotional, skillful, and wildly absorbing. The kind of game that makes time disappear in the best possible way. The moment you step foot into Kamara Village, the game doesn't even pretend to let you leave quickly. Monster Hunter Rise throws you into a loop so irresistible you'll blink and realize you've been hunting for hours. It starts with something harmless, crafting a new weapon, talking to the palicos, checking your armor sets, and suddenly you're launching yourself into the sky with wire bugs like an acrobatic anime hero. Every monster encounter feels like a miniature adventure, packed with breakable parts, epic counters, and that endorphin hit when your team finally brings down a beast 3 times your size. And the second you carve that monster and see a rare material drop, boom, you're immediately queuing up another hunt. Rise is energetic, stylish, and deeply satisfying, with mobility so good it ruins other action games. One hunt becomes 2, then 5, then an entire Saturday afternoon.
Fear my strength!
There's a specific kind of silence in Breath of the Wild. That moment when the wind rustles through a field and you suddenly forget what you were originally trying to do. That's how the game gets you. You start heading toward a shrine, then spot a mountain, then chase a beetle, then get distracted by a Korok puzzle you swear you've done before. Hours vanish because exploring Hyrule feels natural, peaceful, and weirdly therapeutic, even when a guardian is trying to laser you into dust. The freedom is the addiction. Surf on shields, cook experimental meals, climb anything, break everything, and improvise your way out of every encounter. And that moment when lightning strikes your metal sword and you panic throw it, peak comedy. Breath of the Wild doesn't steal your time. It gently invites you to lose it. Every so often, a game grabs your brain like a puzzle box you have to solve. Slay the Spire is exactly that kind of obsession. You start a run feeling confident until the Spire humbles you, then tempts you back with, okay, but what if I tried a poison build this time? Every decision feels meaningful, every card, every relic, every path choice, and that's what keeps you locked in. The beauty is how differently each climb can go. One moment you're a fragile mess holding your deck together with tape. The next you've engineered a ridiculous infinite damage combo that makes bosses melt. It's smart, strategic, endlessly replayable, and somehow always convinces you you're almost about to crack the perfect run. Spoiler, you'll be telling yourself that for dozens of hours, and you'll love every minute of it. Some games offer a world to explore. No Man's Sky casually drops an entire universe in your lap and says, go nuts. The sheer scale hits you immediately. Billions of planets, each with bizarre creatures, weird weather, and resources that make you feel like a space-age forager. What steals your time isn't just exploration, it's the rabbit holes. You stop to scan a plant, then build a small base, then upgrade your ship, then trade with aliens, and suddenly you're running a full intergalactic business empire like it happened by accident. Building bases is its own trap. One minute you're placing a floor, and the next you've constructed a sprawling cliffside HQ that would make a sci-fi architect weep. It's chill, ambitious, and dangerously easy to sink into. No Man's Sky doesn't pace you. It just lets curiosity take the wheel. There's a moment in Stardew Valley when you realize you're no longer playing a farming sim. You're living a second life. It all starts innocently, watering a few parsnips, petting your cat, maybe chatting with the villagers, but then you blink and suddenly you're managing intricate crop rotations, optimizing artisan goods, rearranging your farm layout at 2 a.m., and casually becoming the town's unofficial mayor. The daily loop is the real culprit. One more day becomes one more week, especially when you're chasing that perfect harvest or diving into the mines for just a few more pieces of ore. And the relationships? Oh, they'll get you. Whether you're wooing Abigail or trying to impress Gus with sashimi, the charm never stops. Stardew steals time in the gentlest possible way. It feels so wholesome you barely notice the hours sliding by. At first, Three Houses feels like a tactical RPG with a school setting. Then, without warning, it becomes your entire social calendar. You're teaching swordsmanship, drinking tea with anxious students, micromanaging class schedules, optimizing battalions, and suddenly you care way too much about which kid should be a wyvern lord. The monastery loop is addictive. Explore on Sundays, instruct on Mondays, grind battles on free days, repeat. And every choice feels important. Then there's the story, which branches in ways that demand multiple playthroughs. You finish one route and immediately wonder what the other houses were doing the whole time. The tactical battles themselves are satisfying, but it's the relationships that keep you hooked. You don't just build an army, you build a family. A slightly chaotic, overachieving family. And once you're invested, the hours disappear faster than Lysithea casting Luna.
To our ruin. So take your first step. It's now or never.
Every now and then, a game comes along that feels like a part-time job, but in a fun way. Dave the Diver is exactly that. You dive during the day, harpoon fish, upgrade gear, fight sea creatures, then at night, you're running a bustling sushi restaurant like you somehow volunteered to be both chef and manager. The loop is so smooth, you don't even notice how deeply you're sinking into it. One dive turns into 3 because you found a rare fish. One dinner shift turns into 10 because a VIP customer showed up and you need that cash. And Dave himself, he's got big, I didn't ask for this, but I'm doing my best energy, which somehow makes every task more endearing. Between the quirky characters, minigames, unlocks, and surprisingly deep story, Dave the Diver becomes a time vortex disguised as a chill adventure.
I Dave through the dangerously dark depths of the daunting deep sea.
Every run in Risk of Rain 2 starts the same. You land on a quiet planet, everything seems chill, and then the game casually transforms into a fireworks show made entirely of monsters and item effects. The escalation is the hook. You pick up a few upgrades, feel pretty good about yourself, and suddenly you're sprinting across the map at Mach 4 while 5 bosses spawn at once just to keep things spicy. The item stacking is where the hours vanish. Every run is a new experiment. Maybe today you're building crit chance. Maybe you're a missile factory. Maybe you stack enough goat hooves to become a legally classified windstorm. Risk of Rain 2 doesn't just want your time, it demands your curiosity. And once you get that perfect late game synergy going, you'll restart immediately just to see what chaos you can create next. If you've ever fallen into a just 10 more rooms trance with a good roguelike, Star of Providence knows exactly how to keep you captive. It looks simple at first. Top-down shooting, colorful effects, fast movement, but the game quickly reveals layer after layer of secrets, unlocks, and beautifully chaotic bullet patterns. What hooks you is the pace. Everything's fast, snappy, and packed with just enough danger to keep your brain buzzing. Every weapon feels distinct, every character twist adds new depth, and the rooms themselves keep surprising you, whether it's a weird enemy combo or a hidden reward you didn't expect. Runs are short enough to tempt constant retrying, but deep enough to swallow entire nights before you notice. It's the kind of game where one more run becomes an accidental ritual, and you never regret it. Trying to play Witcher 3 for a quick quest is like trying to read just one chapter of your favorite fantasy novel. Impossible. One mission leads to another, which spirals into a side plot, which somehow becomes a miniature tragedy involving ghosts, moral dilemmas, and a monster contract that probably wasn't worth the money. But you do it anyway, because Geralt is irresistible and the world is ridiculously immersive. Even on Switch, the game pulls you in with its storytelling, characters, and those peaceful moments of riding Roach through a quiet field at sunset. Then there's Gwent, the beautifully dangerous card game that has derailed many players' main quest progress for hours. Witcher 3 doesn't just offer content, it offers stories, the kind that stick with you and lure you deeper. Time slips away because the world feels alive, and every corner begs to be explored. Every run in Rogue Legacy 2 feels like opening a mystery gift. You never know what kind of hero you're getting, and that randomness is exactly what makes it addictive. One moment you're controlling a dyslexic archer who sees scrambled text, the next you're a knight who fights with a paintbrush, or a chef wielding a frying pan of pure destruction. The traits are hilarious, the classes are stylish, and the castle layout changes just enough each time to keep your curiosity hooked. Progression is the true time thief here. Every death means new upgrades, new buildings, new characters, and that irresistible urge to try just one more air, to see what absurd combination comes next. The movement is buttery smooth, the combat is punchy, and the generational system gives every run personality. Rogue Legacy 2 is an endless loop of experimentation, and that's what makes the hours disappear. It's honestly wild how a game this simple becomes such a time-devouring monster. Suika Game is pure serotonin, fruit dropping, merging, bouncing, and occasionally rolling into disaster the moment you think you've got everything under control. The charm sneaks up on you. You start a round just to relax, casually stacking small fruits, then suddenly you're sweating as a giant watermelon threatens to knock everything sideways. The physics add just the right amount of chaos, turning every drop into a tiny gamble, and once you score your first big combo, you immediately chase the next one like a puzzle gremlin possessed. High scores become personal vendettas. Hours vanish because each round feels short, achievable, and unfairly adorable. Suika Game is the perfect accidental obsession. So cute, you forgive it for stealing your entire evening. Some games hook you with gameplay. Hades hooks you with gameplay, story, personality, style, music, and a cast of Greek gods who look like they walked out of a fashion magazine. The first time you dash around as Zagreus, slicing through enemies while the soundtrack goes absolutely feral, you understand why people lose hundreds of hours here. Runs are fast, but the variety is endless. Different boons, weapon aspects, dataless hammers, godly combos that turn you into a swirling ball of destruction. But what really steals time is the narrative drip feed. You want to see what Zagreus says next, what Nyx reveals, what absurd backhanded comment Zeus throws your way. Every escape attempt feels meaningful, even when you fail spectacularly. Hades is polished to perfection. A roguelike that respects your time so much that you willingly give it all away.
That was for last time.
There's a special kind of grip Persona 5 Royal has. The kind where you sit down intending to play for an hour and end up living an entire in-game semester before you notice the sun coming up. It's the daily rhythm that traps you. Going to school, hanging out with friends, tackling quirky part-time jobs, and then diving into surreal, stylish palaces at night. Every day offers something new, and you always feel like you're optimizing your life like a time management mastermind. The characters grow on you fast, the story hits with dramatic flair, and the combat blends strategy with flash in that signature Persona way. And don't even get me started on the soundtrack. Those jazzy beats are dangerous. Persona 5 Royal doesn't just steal your hours, it steals your year, one beautifully animated day at a time. The thing about Splatoon 3 is that matches are short enough to feel harmless, which is exactly how they lure you into playing 30 in a row. You jump into Turf War thinking you'll casually paint some floors, and suddenly it becomes a neon-colored turf battle where every second counts and every comeback feels legendary. The movement is buttery smooth, the weapons all have that Nintendo signature weird but perfect charm, and the maps encourage non-stop momentum. Salmon Run? Even worse for time management. It starts chill, then ramps into frantic chaos as bosses pile up and your team screams internally while trying to meet that quota. Add in splatfests, gear grinding, and fashion that's way cooler than it has any right to be, and Splatoon 3 becomes a daily ritual. It's fast, stylish, chaotic fun. The kind you can't put down. At first glance, Mr. Driller DrillLand looks like a cute puzzle game with bright colors and cheerful music. But don't let that fool you. This thing has arcade DNA, and once it sinks its hooks in, you're done. Digging through block layers feels incredibly satisfying, especially as you chain collapses and slip through tight spaces at the last second. Every mode offers a different twist, from RPG-inspired mechanics to haunted attractions, and the difficulty ramps in that perfect, addictive, oh I know I can do better way. Rounds are quick, which is deadly because it pushes you straight into that loop of immediate retries. And because each attempt feels winnable with just the right pathing, you keep pushing deeper and deeper. Excuse the pun. DrillLand is charming, quirky, and shockingly captivating. The exact kind of puzzle game that erases whole evenings without warning. There's a special kind of time distortion that only Animal Crossing can create. You hop in to check your mail, maybe water a few flowers, and suddenly you're terraforming cliffs with the intensity of a landscape architect on a caffeine rush. New Horizons wraps you in this cozy routine that feels calm on the surface, but somehow becomes a full-blown creative obsession. You decorate your island, rearrange your house for the 10th time this week, catch bugs, visit mystery islands, and chat with villagers who always have something oddly charming to say. Seasons change, events pop up, turnip prices spike, and before long you're planning your entire Sunday morning around Daisy May like she's your stockbroker. It's soothing, wholesome, and dangerously easy to fall into. New Horizons doesn't just pass the time, it convinces you that every minute spent is productivity for the soul. Few games can turn pure chaos into pure adrenaline as well as F-Zero 99. You drop into a race with nearly 100 other players, and instantly it feels like you're trying to survive a futuristic demolition derby at 1,000 miles per hour. There's no easing into it. The moment engines roar, your pulse spikes. Every bump, every boost pad, every near miss becomes a tiny victory. And because races are short, you keep telling yourself, all right, just one more, but that one more turns into 5, then 10, then an entire evening of weaving through carnage while praying your power meter survives another lap. The thrill is addicting, the speed is intoxicating, and the competition never feels stale. F-Zero 99 is pure, snack-sized chaos, the perfect recipe for losing track of time, one race at a time.
One winner. It's time to race your way.
You don't simply play Skyrim, you fall into it like an accidental second life. You set out to deliver a letter or clear a small cave, and somehow end up 3 hours deep into a quest line involving ancient prophecies, morally questionable choices, and a dragon attack you absolutely did not plan for. The magic of Skyrim is how easily it derails your intentions. You spot a shimmering ore vein, then discover a new dungeon, then adopt a kid, then collect 47 cheese wheels because why not? Even on Switch, wandering through forests, hunting treasures, crafting potions, and shouting enemies off cliffs is endlessly satisfying. The portability makes it even more dangerous. Suddenly you're playing in bed, on breaks, during commutes, everywhere. Skyrim's world feels alive, unpredictable, and packed with things to do. Time melts because every distraction feels like its own worthwhile adventure. There's a very specific kind of danger when a game's catchphrase is basically one more turn. Civ 6 weaponizes that phrase. You start by planting a humble little city, casually assigning workers and researching pottery, and suddenly you're deep into the Renaissance, negotiating trade deals like a sleep-deprived diplomat who forgot this was supposed to be a short session. Every decision snowballs. You chase a wonder, which leads to a new technology, which unlocks a new district, which suddenly has you planning 10 moves ahead like a world leader hopped up on ambition. And the Switch version? Even more dangerous, because now you can take world domination to the couch, the bed, or anywhere inspiration strikes. Whether you're a peaceful scientist, a culture monger, or someone who accidentally conquers half the map, Civ 6 will swallow entire nights before you even realize you've unified the planet. Minecraft doesn't even pretend to respect your sense of time. You log in to fix the roof, and hours later you're knee-deep in an elaborate mega base with redstone contraptions, too many animals, and a mysterious hole you don't remember digging. The beauty is how effortlessly curiosity takes over. You follow a cave, find diamonds, get lost, panic build a shelter, tame a wolf, terraform a mountain, vow never to return, then do it all again. Creative mode becomes its own vortex. 1 minute you're placing blocks, and the next you've constructed a mansion with an unreasonable number of bathrooms. It's cozy, open-ended, endlessly replayable, and far too easy to slip into just one more project mode. Minecraft doesn't steal your hours maliciously, it just gives you infinite things to chase, and you happily chase them every time. Few games balance adorable charm with mild existential dread, quite like Cult of the Lamb. You start as a cute little lamb, then immediately become a divine leader running a full-blown cult, complete with rituals, farming, construction, loyalty management, and the occasional dungeon crusade. It sounds intense, but the game makes every task so satisfying that you fall into a perfect loop. Gather resources, expand your base, explore dangerous regions, and return home to maintain your flock before they accidentally starve or revolt. Customizing your cult grounds is its own time sink, especially when you want every follower's bed lined up just so, and the roguelike combat breaks up the management flow perfectly, giving you fast action between cozy domestic chaos. Cult of the Lamb is quirky, stylish, and hilariously addictive, the kind of game you boot up out of curiosity and play until your Switch battery begs for mercy.
Grow your power and spread the word of the Lamb.
There's something almost hypnotic about the moment Vampire Survivors clicks. You start by awkwardly waddling around tiny enemies, and 10 minutes later, the screen looks like a pyrotechnics accident while your character casually incinerates everything within 3 zip codes. The secret sauce is how simple it feels at first. Move, level up, collect upgrades, but every new synergy transforms your run into a glorious mess of particle effects and pure satisfaction. Builds feel wildly different each time, and unlocking new characters, weapons, and evolutions nudges you into trying just one more round. And since each run is around 30 minutes, it tricks your brain into thinking you're being responsible, even though you've played 6 runs in a row. Vampire Survivors is pure dopamine wrapped in retro chaos, and once it gets its hooks in, you'll lose hours without blinking. You tell yourself you're only hopping into Smash for a few matches, and that is the biggest lie you will ever tell. Every fight feels like a quick adrenaline shot. Fast, flashy, chaotic, and always slightly personal when someone edgeguards you in a way you'll absolutely remember. With over 80 characters, the variety alone keeps the game endlessly replayable. You switch mains, learn new combos, jump between online battles, spirit board challenges, classic mode runs, and suddenly it's been 3 hours. Local multiplayer? Even worse for time management, because best of 3 inevitably becomes a full tournament that no one planned, but everyone is somehow emotionally invested in. Smash Ultimate is pure, joyful competition, equal parts friendly chaos and serious bragging rights. It's the kind of game that steals time because every match feels like the next one could be your moment.
And everything is ultimate!
There's something irresistibly cozy about Fantasy Life, the girl who steals time. A game that doesn't just steal time, it quietly pockets entire evenings while you smile through it. You start by picking a life, maybe a cook, a paladin, a woodcutter, a tailor, and suddenly you're bouncing between crafting, gathering, questing, decorating, and befriending townsfolk like you've moved into a charming fantasy neighborhood. The magic lies in how every life links together. Your miner fuels your blacksmithing, your cook keeps you powered through battles, your crafter unlocks new tools, and before long, you've built an entire routine that feels weirdly therapeutic. The island is warm, colorful, and full of bite-sized tasks that constantly nudge you forward. It's low pressure, endlessly rewarding, and so easy to sink into just one more task mode. Fantasy Life doesn't demand your time, it gently convinces you to hand it over. Dead Cells is one of those games that turns you into an instant, just one more run addict. It's fast, fluid, stylish, and brutally fair. The kind of action platformer that makes you feel like a parkour champion and a disaster-prone gremlin within the same minute. Runs flow beautifully. You dash, roll, slash, blast, unlock new paths, and experiment with weapons that feel wildly different every time. Maybe you're running a poison build. Maybe you're bashing everything with a giant hammer. Maybe you found an overpowered bow that makes you feel like a smug medieval sniper. The movement alone can steal hours, but the unlock system is what keeps you hooked. Every failure gives you new options, new mutations, new biomes to chase. Before you know it, you're mentally planning your next run while still in the middle of your current one. Few games do endless replayability like The Binding of Isaac Repentance. Every run is a chaotic mystery box filled with thousands of items, curses, weird synergies, and horrifyingly adorable enemy designs that always keep you guessing. You walk into a room hoping for a simple challenge, then get hit with laser beams, spiders, explosions, and a transformation that turns you into something you didn't know existed. And yet, the chaos is exactly what makes it addictive. No two runs ever feel the same, and even after dozens of hours, you'll still stumble upon items you've never seen before. Half the fun is crafting absurd builds, items that stack in ways that feel illegal, while the other half is sheer determination to see how far this run can go. It's dark, funny, disturbing, and brilliant. Time disappears because curiosity keeps dragging you forward. Forager is one of those games that pretends to be chill right before it takes over your entire night. It starts simple enough, you're chopping trees, mining rocks, crafting a few tools, totally harmless. But then the game ramps up fast. Suddenly you're buying new islands, unlocking strange biomes, farming, fishing, brewing potions, solving puzzles, and building a suspicious number of furnaces because it'll be faster this way. The real trap is the progression. Every few minutes something new unlocks, nudging you into another task, another upgrade, another blueprint you absolutely must craft. And once automation kicks in, oh boy, your peaceful island becomes a chaotic little factory town and you're somehow proud of it. Forager is bright, goofy, and dangerously addictive. The kind of game where hours vanish because there's always one more thing to do. And that's the full list. 30 Switch games perfectly engineered to make hours disappear. Now I'm curious, which one has stolen the most time from you? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this countdown, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next Nintendo Deep Dive.